So what's the real secret to being truly effective? It's not about quick fixes or just having a charming personality. Nope. True, lasting success, both in our careers and in our lives, is an inside-out journey. It all starts with the one thing we actually have control over, our character.
And, a journey like that, it requires a completely new way of thinking. Einstein really hit the nail on the head here. You can't solve a problem with the same mindset that created it in the first place. This demands a huge paradigm shift. So what does this new level of thinking actually look like?
Okay, here's the crucial shift we need to make. For a long time, the focus was all on what Stephen Covey called the personality ethic. Think of it like the tip of an iceberg. It's what everyone sees, right? Your image, your techniques, your skills. And while that stuff is useful, it's superficial. The real foundation, the character ethic, is the massive part of the iceberg under the water. It's those core principles like integrity, humility, and justice. And that is the bedrock for everything else we're going to talk about.
And that brings us to the very first stage of our journey, the private victory. I love that term. See, before you can effectively lead or collaborate with anyone else, you have to master yourself first. This isn't about getting applause from the outside world. It's all about winning those tough battles on the inside.
This really gets to the heart of that inside-out approach. You've got to win the private victory first before you can even hope to win public victories with other people. I mean, think about it. You have to be a strong, independent person before you can be a truly great teammate. That's what this is all about.
So how do we achieve this private victory? Well, Covey gives us 3 foundational habits to build on. Number 1, be proactive. That means taking full responsibility for your life. Number 2, begin with the end in mind. You got to know where you're going. And number 3, put first things first. This is all about prioritizing what actually matters. Get these 3 down and you're building some serious character.
And right here, this is where we see these 2 brilliant frameworks just click together perfectly. Covey's first habit, be proactive, is literally the key to unlocking what John Maxwell calls the law of the lid. Maxwell's idea is that your leadership ability puts a lid, or a ceiling, on your potential. And being proactive, that's the conscious choice you make, day in and day out, to actively raise that lid on your own effectiveness.
And I want to be clear, this is not just some abstract theory from a book. It's happening in the real world. According to Education Week, thousands of schools are actually using these very principles to help students bounce back from pandemic disruptions. They're rebuilding routines, sharpening those critical executive function skills, and most importantly, giving students a sense of ownership again. It's a perfect example of winning that private victory in action.
For that third habit, put first things first, you've got to see this time management matrix. It's a total game changer. Let's be honest, most of us live in quadrant 1, right? Just constantly putting out fires, dealing with crises. But here's the secret. The truly effective people intentionally carve out time for quadrant 2. That's the stuff that's important but not urgent. Planning, prevention, building relationships. That is the zone where real progress actually happens. The writer Goethe captured this perfectly. The whole essence of this private victory is having the discipline to ignore the urgent demands of others, to ignore your own impulses, and to focus on the strength of your own purpose. So once you put in the work and achieve that private victory, you basically earn the right to move on. And the next stage is the public victory. This is where we shift from me to we. We go from independence to interdependence. From just managing yourself to really, truly collaborating with other people. At the core of all of this is a concept called the emotional bank account. It's such a simple but powerful metaphor, isn't it? It's basically the amount of trust you have in any relationship. Every time you're courteous, every promise you keep, that's a deposit. Every broken commitment, every act of dishonesty, that's a withdrawal. And you just can't have effective collaboration if you're running a negative balance. So the public victory is built on 3 more habits. We've got Think Win-Win, which is all about seeking solutions that benefit everybody. Then Seek First to Understand, then to be understood. That's the absolute heart of good communication. And finally, Synergize, which is that creative magic that happens when a team really clicks, and 1 + 1 = 3, or 4, or 5.
And check this out. See how Covey's habit of seeking to understand is basically the instruction manual for Maxwell's law of connection. Maxwell tells us you have to connect with people on an emotional level before you can ask them for help. Well, how do you do that? You make deposits in their emotional bank account. You genuinely listen. You try to understand their perspective first.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to one word: trust.
that emotional bank account, thinking win-win, listening with empathy. They are all just different ways of building trust. And as Maxwell pounds the table on in his Law of Solid Ground, trust isn't just important, it is the absolute, non-negotiable foundation of all leadership. Without it, you've got nothing.
Okay, so let's say you've done it. You've won the private victory, you're winning the public victory. Now what? How do you keep the momentum going? That brings us to our final and maybe most important stage, sustaining that growth through a commitment to renewal.
Covey has a great name for this: sharpen the saw. It's the habit of self-renewal. I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? You can't keep sawing wood effectively with a dull blade. This means taking regular time to renew yourself across 4 key dimensions: your physical health, your spiritual side, your mind, and your social and emotional well-being. This is the habit that makes all the others possible.
And here is our final, really powerful connection. Covey's habit of sharpening the saw is the exact same principle as Maxwell's law of the process. It just hammers home the point that an effective life isn't a single event. It's a process. It's that daily commitment to continuous improvement. So, you see, it doesn't really matter if we call them laws or habits. What we're really talking about are timeless principles. These aren't just some flavor-of-the-month management trends. They're fundamental truths about human effectiveness. And they lay the groundwork for what truly matters in the end: our legacy.
So, where does this all lead? What's the ultimate end of this entire inside-out journey? Well, it's not just about personal success. It's about the impact you have on other people. It's about your legacy.
Maxwell's law of legacy is pretty blunt about this. True leadership isn't measured by what you accomplish. It's measured by what happens after you're gone. The ultimate goal is to empower others, to develop other leaders who can carry the work forward long after you've moved on. When you put it all together, this entire journey, from private victory to public victory, all sustained by constant renewal, it becomes this incredible upward spiral of growth. You move from mastering yourself to synergizing with others to ultimately empowering the next generation. It's a powerful path. So, the question to leave you with is, what will your legacy be?